all this stuff that I've done has been in a short period of time, but so much experience within that short. Yeah. Like even now, like I do so much in 1 year. Like I feel like I have like 5 years growth in some way, whether it's financially or like business experience wise, people like dealing with people like so much because I do this thing where I need like where I need to like tighten up. I do as much as I can, and I kind of, opportunity costs. I do everything. Yeah. I don't really like narrow down onto one thing. Like, I should like some people do, kind of helps them. But for me, I like to move fast and like all verticals, and so I'm just I'm constantly testing and throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks.
Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of the E-Formula podcast. This is the podcast where you get to hear about entrepreneurs that are making big moves, entrepreneurs that have built powerful companies. And my guest today is Van Dennis. They call him the Google God. I'm really excited to get into that story, the story behind the Google God.
Man.
Welcome to the podcast.
I appreciate you, man. Thank you.
Where did the Google God comes from?
Dude, honestly, it was actually a friend of mine at the time. We were just trying to just shake up the market a bit. I actually saw a book you had right there, Digital Disruption, and I was like, we need to do something different. We need to, make that certainty and that credibility right out of the way. Mm-hmm. And us and saying calling us each other like Google God and stuff like that, knew that was gonna be a very strong statement and very bold. And that's what we kind of got as well, that people were telling us just because they were seeing our results and stuff like that on Google. And, years ago, a lot of people weren't really seeing too many results, and also no one really publicizing it. So that was something that we knew that was kind of like our advantage and gave us that unique position, that playing field. Yeah.
The God that's the top of the line, right? Mm-hmm. Amazing. I know a lot of the people watching would also like to know the origin story. Who was Van Dennis before the brand Van Dennis?
Definitely. Good question, man. I've always been like how I am. Always been like how I am. Always been super disciplined, hardworking, very motivated, ambitious person. Ever since I was a kid, I had all this talent and all this skill set and focus and drive and ambition I have for business. I had it for sports before. Wow. So I was heavily into soccer was my first love. But the neighborhood I grew up in, soccer wasn't that popular, and it was more football was more popular. Yeah. So I jumped into that for many different reasons. My mom really got me into it because she wanted me to be more disciplined and stay out of trouble, because I was a little bit of a troublemaker when I was a kid. I was a complete whole different person. I'm glad I grew up and changed, man, because I looked up to the wrong people, and I wanted the wrong things. I don't even know if I even should say this stuff. The stuff I wanted to have happen to me and do are just insane, insane.
Can you just give one example? No filters. Let's get it.
Dude, no filter. I don't want to say this. You gotta make sure you pray for me after say this. I don't want to even say this, but I wanted to be, in a gang. I wanted to, I was so crazy when I was a kid, bro. I wanted to get shot because I thought it was cool to get, I thought crazy stuff.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. I had a whole different mindset. So there's a lot more. I don't want to embarrass myself, but I was literally completely different person. At one point. And my mom saw that, and she was like, there's no father in the house, so there's no one to discipline him. I can't discipline because as I'm getting older, beating me isn't doing anything at a certain point, Wow. And so she put me into football, and that kind of did help me gain discipline and be self-aware of stuff. And it just opened up a lot of other interests, and also I was able to feed some of the anger I had as a kid into that and kind of transition everything. And I had a really great coach, Coach Venezuela, Coach V. He was, he kind of opened up the doors. He was the first person I saw that was, making really good money, educated. He went to USC, graduated, and he used to take us to their football practices, and I would do this to the scrimmage. And at this time, I'm watching Reggie Bush, who I looked up to and idolized as a kid. Wow. I'm able to see his hard work and the way he carried himself, the way he spoke on camera, just he was just a complete person that I wanted to be growing up. And so I was able to learn a lot just from watching afar and just being that kid on the sidelines, just watching, you know.
Wow.
It was very motivating to see that, and I'm thankful that coach was able to bring us to that opportunity, because then that transitioned into me even growing and having more self-development, and it's moving in the right way. Setting goals when I was like in middle school to like go to USC. I wanted to have a 4.0. I wanted to be a baller and a smart at the same time.
Wow.
And so it definitely was like a good transition for me. But that's what led me to being exactly how I am now. So,
Wow.
you know, us living here in Miami, everyone thinks of it being crazy, but really it's a really beautiful, calm place and a very motivating place that people kind of
100%.
overlook. That's
Yeah.
very, very motivating in a really good way. And you can build a really good, healthy habits here.
Amazing. So when did you know that you're not gonna go make it as a football player? Because if that was the passion and the drive and everything you had, something might have gotten on the way.
Man, it's crazy just thinking about the stuff like me throwing my body full speed into another human. Wow. Was what I do. But I had a surgery. A shoulder injury. Didn't ever get surgery on it. I was supposed to do that, then medical red shirt. I didn't do it. I kind of, when that had happened, I was like, I think I need to stop, because my position was a strong safety where I had to come down and hit and use my shoulder.
Wow.
Yeah, so I knew like, all right, this isn't gonna, like, I'm gonna keep hurting it. Is this worth, like, there has to be some other way out. So there was a point in time I was definitely like lost, because when I couldn't play anymore, it made me super depressed. Like, I'm like, I have no purpose. Like, what am I supposed to do? Even though like I still had the business mindset and stuff like that, but I really was just so disappointed in the fact that I couldn't play anymore. And that was like something that I was kind of was helping me like keep going, you know, like, you know, like, yeah, like my mother had passed my senior year of high school. That was like the one thing I kind of had to kind of keep like giving me like more life and like, you know, something to look forward to every morning.
Wow.
And so when that was taken away from me, that kind of did give me that, oh, like, what the hell do I do now?
Yeah. And
where am I going? What am I doing?
And I know it might have affected you as well, seeing that it's your mom that really put you on. Maybe that's like a piece of her as well.
Yep.
You know.
So there was a connection with that, and I was like, all right, this is obviously not gonna be a thing I can't do anymore. It's just not worth it. And I started going into like the work field of like doing sales, and that was kind of where I was starting to like find like passion for something that I liked. I liked the structure of it. I liked that it was a lot more of a professional structure, and I was able to use different skill sets that were not as much physical but more mental.
Right. Oh, you started your journey in sales.
Yeah,
working with a sales company.
Yeah, so I was working with Sunglass Hut. So, you know, Sunglass Huts are all over the U.S. Like every month. Yeah, Sunglass Hut, they're everywhere.
They're everywhere. Yeah.
And so that job I loved because I was doing really good, and I was like outworking everyone else, because everyone else, well, I don't think I wanted more.
Actually in the store?
Yeah, I was working in the mall. So
sick.
That was like the first time I had to like wear like dressed up suit type style to go to work, and I liked that structure because it made me have to be a little bit more upkept, clean cut look. You know, be able to speak to people, like all different types of people, and guide them through the sales process of buying their best, like, you know, sunglasses that fit them. So it was like I was learning so much on that, and I just loved it. I was like, oh, this is different. Like, this is a better looking job, and I thought I was cool because I was like, I'm working like a nicer little job than my friends that are working other jobs I've had before, because I've done it all, man. I was a delivery driver for pizza. I was a dishwasher, like, you know, at one point. And so, but even when I was doing those jobs, man, I had a smile on my face. Like, I was just super excited. I was just washing dishes like, and then, you know, busting out tables. I was still smiling, like, and just like everyone, all my coworkers always loved me because I was just always in a good mood, and just like, you know, I was taking everyone's shifts. Like, I was like, I work all day. Like, so that's how long I was making money. So I was like, and I had nothing else really to do. So I was like, I'll just take up all the hours and just stack up as much money as I can. And I kept doing that, and I've always kept that same energy. It's just like, all right, how much more can we do? How much can we keep going? But that was definitely the job that I was like, okay, we're getting a little bit more sophisticated. And that just turned into that sales experience, and me being like a manager turned into like getting connected with like these SaaS companies, and then being a sales guy for the SaaS company where there's a little bit more money involved with that and structure. And that started opening up this different quantum leaps of different industries and like the world that I'm in today now.
Wow. So from the sunglass hunt, you went to work for a SaaS company.
Yeah. So from there I did a few sales. I did sales for like the UFC gym. UFC was like, I think they opened up their first gyms in California. I was like a sales manager for one of the gyms over there, where I'm just processing, make sure the gym's revenue is coming in, upping the MRR of the gyms with monthly recurring revenue. And it's obviously like doing like sales promotion and stuff like that. So I was doing some sales and marketing for the UFC gym, which was really cool, and it gave me a lot of good experience as well. It was also a nice job as well. I'm seeing like the UFC fighters come into the gym, and
Wow.
I was at a location, Rancho Cucamonga, which is like a more family area, but there's some decent there's some players over there as well. Like people are entrepreneurs like that. So I was starting to see some of these guys come in with nice cars to the gym, and I'm like, what do you do? So I'm starting to like hear more and more, just learning. And something I still, even to this day, want to ask sometimes. People are like, well, what do you do? Because we all do something different. So everyone's doing something so unique, and everyone has these interesting backgrounds. But that transitioned to me working from to a SaaS company job because of my experience there. I was able to get this like SaaS company job, and that's when marketing was really becoming like this lead. I'm seeing the leads. I'm seeing pipeline. I'm using like a CRM, like a real CRM for one. Because we had one at the UFC gym that was kind of like basic protocol. Wasn't nothing too crazy. But this was like when I was like, my first CRM experience was with Salesforce and HubSpot. And that was like
big shot.
I'm like, what is this?
Extensions.
This is crazy. There's all this customer data on here. How are we able to like? I was just so curious. I'd never seen this stuff before, and I was very new to it. But it just curiosity, man. Just kept. I was like, just wanted more. I wanted to study. I wanted to master it, and that turned into me wanting to also like the CEO of the company. His name was John. I looked up to him because like this guy went to Stanford. He's friends with Mark Zuckerberg. Like he's like in big tech. Like he's like really involved in big tech. Yeah. Like so like he was crushing it. He was like this CrossFit jacked. Wow. You could tell he used to be a nerd, but kind of like how, just like how Jeff Bezos looks all jacked now.
Yeah.
He has that same type of look, like bald head. You could tell he was a real nerd, really knows his shit when it comes to tech and like in the web. It's an OG in the space, yeah. And he's like, I want to be good looking, and like he got himself right. And I was like, this is a good looking guy who's Stanford degree, crazy dope company, dope amazing office. I was like, I gotta be like this guy. That's
the dream now.
That was the first thing I was like, I gotta be like this. I found it. Like, God, thank you. This is exactly the route that I'm going. And so my only way to get close to him, I was like, I gotta produce. I gotta be a producer in this company. I was just a sales guy at the time. Now, obviously, sales does bring a lot of revenue to the company, but that wasn't the closest way to get to him. The closest way to get to him, I'd always be walking by and I'll see him in the meetings with the marketing team. So I'm walking by this meeting and I'm like, every day. Started talking to some of the people in marketing, like, what are you guys doing? Does that help? And then so I started just searching stuff on my own on YouTube and Google, reading different blogs, trying to. When I first heard, like, oh, we're doing different. I think what was her name? I want to say it was Ashley. I think it was Ashley. She was like one of like the marketing director assistants, like right under John, and she's actually the person that hired me too. I did an interview with her. So I started asking, I was like, yeah, I really want to I really love this company. I want to thank you for giving me this job. I really played it really cool with them always, was respectful and showed up and stayed late. It's like I had nothing else to do, nothing else. Even to this day, like nothing to me is more serious than my business and and that's what I have passion for. So if I got to spend the time on it, I'm gonna spend the time on it and some if I need to, And I was that person. Like I wanted them to see like my hard work because even with playing football, coaches always say, be the first one in, last one out of the gym, that kind of would show like the coaches would see like, oh, that person has work ethic, and I've always wanted to be remembered as someone like that, So that was me in this office job, and I loved it. They provided a beautiful desk, super modern, MacBook computers, everything. It was really nice. Wow. So I'm having all this food as well, crazy nice modern kitchen, beautiful view of San Diego. Like in a glass building, so it felt so good to get to this place every day to work, and that's actually something I do keep in mind till even my business today. That's why we have a beautiful office, and I'm in Orange County for InstaBoost, and that drive and me able to pivot into going to marketing happened from me just having that curiosity of trying to figure out how we were getting all these leads for the SaaS company at the time where we were selling to car dealerships like ad placement, leads through car gurus, stuff like that. Pulling data. So I was getting mixed up into all this tech stuff that I never really knew much about before.
And that was pretty much where now you have like a perfect frame of the person you want to be like.
Oh yeah, I saw a perfect like framework of like that first person, which definitely was John, and I don't even give him enough credit. I need to reach out to him. I don't even give him enough credit about that, which is crazy to think about. I need to actually give him credit on that. Because he was like the first person I saw and like was able to like be next to and like touch that was like multi-millionaire, big tech company, you know, like, and
That's the dream.
and on that level, like, yeah, he's just on a different level, like, different level. Like, he's still on a different level, like, today. Like, yeah, he's probably, I wouldn't be surprised if he's worth, like, anywhere from, like, 2 to 500 million. I wouldn't be surprised.
Wow.
Because I know that company, at least at the time, had to be evaluated at, like, 80 mil, maybe 100
Wow.
mil.
When was that? 2016, 17?
Yeah, and he's only, how he was operating, he looked like he was only going to keep, you know. Like, I was seeing this guy come in from the, like, do CrossFit, like, at, like, 6 in the morning or so. He was coming straight to the office, or he'll leave the office to go to CrossFit. He was like just how I live my life, very similar to that. Like, I'm either going to the gym in the morning or I'm gonna go later after my day or something, you know. And like, I was seeing that type of person, eating clean, they're fit. He was also fit. I was like, and clean cut. Like, there was just so many things I took from that I appreciated and I liked, and how, you know, Reggie Bush was my first person, right? And then this guy, you know, complete different industries, but still fit, still clean cut, good looking gentleman, respectful, hardworking, like, but like really hardworking, like grit. And that's kind of like something I've always idolized. And a very interesting thing, because as I'm like, you know, at my age, I'm always wondering, like, why do I idolize that? Like, why? I don't even know. I just love it. Like, I just have passion for it. That's how I want to be seen. Like for you, you're my friend. I want you to respect me for like the right reasons. I don't want you to think like, damn, Van's kind of all over the place, or he's like messy, or he's like going out too much, he's drinking too much, stuff like that. Like, I think, and it could be an ego thing. I like for people to like respect me, but in a good way, like
For the good way.
yeah, like, you know, like, so. And I've always idolized that. They say you're not supposed to care what people think, but I care what people think. I don't know, like.
Wow.
I don't know what's the.
That's like a unique type of, you know, argument, you know.
Yeah, because like, of course, like, I don't care what everyone thinks, but for people that I respect, I care what they, you know, like,
100%,
so,
that's a good way to put it.
So I don't care that some people might think that I'm weird for not drinking as much, or not going out as much, or not spending money on like unnecessary things, but other stuff I care about, and other things I don't care about, you know, and that's kind of how I see it.
So for you and John and the company, ideally, when you see somebody that you idolize at this extent and see yourself being, the goal would be like, okay, to get as close as possible to him and probably become his right-hand man managing the full company. Mm-hmm. But apparently that was not the route that you decided to take.
Yeah, I would have definitely liked taking that route, but I feel like God just had a different plan for me. So I don't know if I told you before, I was going to, Ty Lopez had this conference. This is at the time I'm starting to look up like entrepreneurship. That one search keyword, SEO-wise, triggered into a whole rabbit hole.
Yeah.
You know, so many nights, I don't have that much money, so I wasn't doing anything else crazy at night. And at night, and I still do it to the day, but it's interesting because now I watch a lot of podcasts. If I'm not watching like a TED Talk type thing, not like an actual TED Talk, but something like similar, and just different industries, so I can kind of like learn on things that I don't know. Like, I don't know much about NFTs.
Yeah. I
I don't know much about crypto, stuff like that. So I constantly like to watch certain stuff regarding that from different people, so I have different perspectives. So I kind of just collect it all. But
just
anyway,
information, yeah.
I was gonna go to this Ty Lopez. Ty Lopez popped up, kept seeing his ads. I'm like, who is this guy?
I don't think we give too much credit.
Yeah, Ty Lopez doesn't get enough credit. Ty Lopez definitely needs his credit because he birthed so many successful entrepreneurs that I don't think a lot of people would give him credit. I definitely would say I would give him credit as well.
I'm one of them.
Yeah,
as well.
him, Gary Vee as well. I was watching Gary Vee videos like every day.
Yeah.
It was cool thing about Gary Vee. I was able to hear someone. I was thinking these things, but maybe I'm just like over it. Am I just tripping? Like, I thought I was tripping. Like, why am I thinking all this about marketing? Why am I thinking about, like, why do I feel like I have to crush it? Why do I feel like this is more for me and I need to, like, I kind of was, because everyone else around me, some of my friends were kind of like,
chilling.
They didn't have that conviction or thinking that. And so I was like, maybe I'm like, I am crazy and I am different, but like, I need to make sure, like, you know, I needed some reinsurance. And so Gary Vee gave me a lot of reinsurance of like a lot of reinsurance, which was really good. And so did Ty Lopez, and then who else? Grant Cardone also. Grant Cardone was at that time, especially because I was in sales. I was watching a lot of, because Grant Cardone was probably the first person I was watching a lot because of my sales background. So I was watching a lot of him, but it transitioned because I was like, there's more than sales. And like Patrick,
David.
David, he talked about the sales, I think it's an argument. It's not like a fact, right? Because teach your own. But he talks about how the sales person isn't as good as a marketer. Like the marketer is gonna make more money than the salesperson. And he had a whole argument, which made kind of sense that like if you think about it, the marketing really disrupts and really sales of course are always needed, always gonna be there. You gotta, like Grant Cardone, sell or be sold.
Yeah.
You're gonna always have to sell, no matter in any type of way, whether you're selling a physical product, a digital product, or yourself to someone, vice versa.
Do business with and so on and so forth.
Yeah, and becoming like knowing the psychology behind that, from a sales standpoint and a marketing standpoint, really determines the success of each thing, right?
100%.
But within that, me like having that, I knew I had to go to this. I'm gonna jump back because I know I'm going to rabbit hole. I knew I had to jump into this Tai Lopez conference because of what it was bringing. There were so many different skill sets that were gonna help me better with sales, and help me also with my marketing, and just get business knowledge. I just never knew it. Like in college, I dropped out, but they weren't really going into depth about certain things, and it was too slow, and I'm like, it just didn't make sense to me. So I dropped out of there quick. I was like, let me go work. I kind of knew like I need to go work and make this money in this industry, and I'm gonna learn through this process.
100%. Yeah.
So I told the owner, I don't know if I should say his name.
The manager?
Yeah, the manager. He was John Mack or something like that. Older Asian guy, very stern. He was actually really like, he to me was like a father to me in a sense that was like stern and like really tough and hard. Yeah, like so I definitely thank him for that because he made me also have like that no excuse mentality. Never show up late. Never do this. Why'd you make 200 calls today? Like, so he and obviously because he had to make sure the numbers were hit for the business. So it was his ass. But I loved how he was on me because that definitely helped me like just
100%.
it made me like go really hard. But when I needed to go to this conference, it was on a Friday. I'm trying to sell him like, look, this conference is gonna help me better my skills. I could close more deals for the company. I need to learn certain stuff. I thought he was gonna be on board with it. Like, oh, this kid wants to go on a Friday to a business conference.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I'll probably buy you lunch as well. I'm thinking like it's gonna go good. He kind of looked at me, and I don't know. I'm thinking maybe we had a bad month, and I didn't know those numbers. So obviously, like they told us all the numbers, and I mean, I'm not sure why, but he was like, if you go to this conference, pretty much you're gonna get fired.
Wow.
And I'm like, my numbers weren't even bad. Like I was like, wasn't the best, but I was up there. Like I was up there, and everything else involved I was up there because I was making other people inspired and working hard and stuff like that. My circle that I hanged out with was like we were all the top salespeople. So I wasn't too sure where that came from, and I feel like it was kind of like a power control type thing. And something was just telling me, like, I sat to my desk and I felt like a crazy feeling I sometimes get till this day. Like, this is that moment.
Get up.
This is that moment that's gonna like, you go left or right, and
you just have to know.
You gotta go all the way, whichever one you go, you gotta go all the way with it. And so I was like, I came back and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna be going to this conference. I hope that I'm able to come back next week, but I just really felt like I need to go to this conference. Yeah, and that was like a very interesting thing. I went to, this is my first business conference or whatever you want to call it. I went there suited up.
Nice.
Had my laptop, my book bag. Like, I don't even think people go to conferences like this. I was there ready to learn. I was there ready to like change my life, man.
Some notebooks.
Man, I left that shit
pens.
That Tai Lopez conference. Who did I see speak there? There was some, my friends Samir and Juan, who live out here in Miami now, they were there because they partnered up with Tai Lopez at the time to like sell like some like Shopify course type thing, but they didn't know me at the time. I think I went up to Samir and I said hi. We eventually, we ended up like living in the same like apartment complex in LA together. Wow. We're still boys. I see Juan every morning at the gym, damn near, and a few other people I met there that were just starting out in the entrepreneur journey, just like me, and it's interesting to see a lot of like the growth of some, and also the ones that quit. Yeah. Which was very interesting. But that made me so like also motivated, and I was like, oh my gosh, there's more people that think like this, and there's this community of this, and like, oh, what the hell was I doing this whole time? Like, I felt like so like kind of like just shocked that this was a thing. But also made me so excited. I had so much notes. I left that thing just like on a high, you know, like just
ready
I'm
to
gonna
take on the
change
next
my life, you know,
opportunity.
yeah, like. And the first thing I went down to was like Shopify is what gave me the most interest because of the marketing aspect of it, the creative part of it. I like that. I was very, intrigued by being able to use those certain skill sets, build those certain skill sets, and be able to grow a business that I control, you know. So I went into diving into my first store. Wasted a bunch of money, didn't make any sales, but I was learning on that
process,
time, yeah. And I didn't have much money to waste, so I was very like, if I put $10 right here, I need to see some conversions or some type of traction. Like, what's the CTR looking like?
Yeah.
Like, I was looking at all different things. I was learning these things as I went. Didn't work out for me the first round ago, but I got some good marketing skill sets from it that I thought I could bring value to, but I didn't have the money to actually like to invest and to make it a thing. So what I did was I got this great resume I could just cook up, add in my marketing skills in there and my sales, and then go find a marketing agency job. This is when I started hearing Ty Lopez obviously had this SMA. This is when I first heard about like a social media marketing agency and stuff like that. So I was like, first thing I'm gonna do is let me go work for one on the sales side and also on the media buying side. And I did that for like 4 different companies in like Orange County, San Diego, and Hollywood. Really good companies, doing really well. Each company was probably doing anywhere from like, I'd say like 2 million to like 30 million. It went up to like in that range, you know. So obviously some were bigger and better than others, but I learned so much on that, made a lot of great connections, and learned the inside of outs of like building a marketing agency and from a scale, and also pivoting, having to be innovative. I've seen all types of stuff. This is like early. This is like before like. This is actually before like social influencer marketing always been there, just obviously different. But this is kind of, I guess, before it got really, really big on social. So I was like involved with a lot of that, seeing how the ads performed compared to not. And living in Hollywood, one of the companies I worked with, TLK, owner name is Kevin. He was like friends with the Kardashians, like
wow
type thing. Like I remember coming into the office one day and like in a conference room, I see like Kris Jenner.
Oh, wow.
And like she had shades on, and I'm just like, that's crazy. That's like the mom. And I'm pretty sure like there was like a few other girls. I wasn't even trying to look too hard, but I'm pretty sure one of the sisters were there. I just don't know which one it was. Like I wasn't trying to act starstruck. I just want to act like I'm here to work. And like I have videos I can show you on my phone. Like yeah, just like of the office, and like I think he had a picture in his office of Kim or something. Like they had like a really close relationship. So he was getting all type of different clients, business, and we were running the ads for it. I was mainly a Facebook media buyer for him, and I got that job on a whim too. So I gotta tell you how I got the job. I got this job by telling this guy that I was on a conference room meeting. We had like an open group interview, and everyone in there was way more valid than me, like way more
talented and
way more talented, had way
more
better
credentials.
Definitely more credentials. But the thing is, though, I could tell that they all didn't want it as bad as I did, in a sense. I could just feel it. For some reason, I could just feel it. I was like, I got to stand out some way. Because one of the guys was like an older gentleman, went to UC Irvine, which is where we recruited a lot of our talent for my agency. And he was like part of some team that worked on like the like backup camera for cars.
Oh, wow.
He was older. He was like in his like 50s or something. Like, and he had all this. I'm like, dude. For one, how do you not have a job? Like you're so like how do you not either like rich off your own business or invention, or like I was surprised he was even there. I'm like they probably knew like this isn't for you. This guy needs to go be working at NASA or something.
Yeah.
He was like way too qualified for a media buyer position. Like he was on something else. Like he was like an engineer. I was like, I didn't get it. I was like, is he gonna come in and like build out a CRM? Because this time I already know about CRM. Like maybe this guy, they might hire him. He's gonna build out something. He looked like he had a whole book of like blueprints and engineering stuff. I was like, well, first thing I thought was like, I'm not gonna get this job because this other girl worked for all these e-com stores at the time. I've only worked on like 2 that weren't successful really. One was, but it was like a interesting story. It was like an Amazon store / e-com store. But I used that to like beef up and kind of give myself some, a little on my back to get into this meeting, to get this job. I waited for everyone to leave. And I was like, I asked the owner, Kevin, I was like, you mind if I just talk to you for a bit? I just moved here from to LA. I want you to know that like I'm very thankful for you, giving this interview. I love the office, by the way. I would love to work for you for free. I like kind of like when I work for you for free for a few months, like you see how you like it. I really want to learn. I really have passion for this. But by the time I got to the car,
Wow.
he texted me to start Monday.
Boom.
And I'm not lying. This is like a true story.
Wow.
But that's when I knew that I was like,
you got it.
Yeah, I got it. But also like me even thinking that to do that was like, that's the irresistible offer
100%
that he can't
resist.
Yeah. And so that's kind of like was just started. So much shit, man.
Wow. It's like Alex Ramosi, I'm going to make offers so good so they feel stupid thing. No. Mm-hmm. How old was you when you was coming up with all this stuff?
Dude, I was probably, I'm so bad with timeline. I'm 28 right now. I want to say like 20, what year was
2017? 17?
Yeah, so.
It's like,
so
5 years ago.
So yeah.
So it's like 23.
So all this stuff that I've done has been in a short period of time, but so much experience within that short. Yeah.
Like 5 years.
Like I do even now, like I do so much in 1 year. Like I feel like I have like 5 years growth in some way, whether it's financially or like business experience wise, people like dealing with people like so much because I do this thing where I need like where I need to like tighten up. I do as much as I can, and I kind of opportunity costs. I do everything. Yeah. I don't really like narrow down onto one thing. Like I should like some people do kind of helps them, but for me, I like to move fast and like all verticals, and so I'm constantly testing and throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks. But also with that in that process, there's a lot of L's you take, right?
Oh, 100%.
Like I take so much L's, and I get those few wins that do help put me back or upscale me, but it helps me feel like because of my time and feel like my resources, I feel like I need to do as much as I can as possible to
optimize in every way. Wow. So first you worked for those 4 companies, and then now how did Instaboost get got created?
So I had my own I had Black Label Digital. I had like 2 different other like agencies that I was like CEO of that I created. One was just like a social media management. One was more so for just social media and Google Ads. Mm-hmm. One was just for Google Ads and YouTube Ads. Because obviously there was not too much competition in that nectar field, which there still isn't. I'm always looking. I'm like, there really isn't any. There's not someone that's like a go-to person for Google. I feel like besides kind of myself, like a lot of people go to me for that, even though that's not even my only thing I offer. But it's just a good way to disrupt the market, and just have something different. But I already had like a pretty like I had like a 6-figure like MRR coming in through paid media, mainly for Google Ads and like Facebook ads at the time, because obviously these were popping off a lot back then. Still popping off now. But I needed structure. I was using a bunch of VAs. I didn't like having to use VAs for like management and even some of my media buying because I was scaling up and I couldn't handle all the clients by myself. And I was also handling the sales calls, this and that. So this was my time. I was like, okay, I need to like add some more better business and scale this up. Wasn't a big fan of the VA model just because of it took like 5 clients saying like, hey, who's signing into my account from India? Or it took us 5 people to say that for them to be like,
and you're like, no, we have to figure this out.
I was like, damn. I was like, I mean, I could hire someone here, but it's going to be like a lot more expensive, and I don't know if I'm like ready for that. I was trying to build up. It was my first time making some like real money. I want to build up some cash before I do this, and like let me see how I can figure this out. Right. So then I started looking to see like other ways to be able to expand, getting an office in the U.S. somewhere, getting a team. I was like, I have no idea how to like really hire someone like that because all I've been hiring was VAs, which is obviously it's a little different. But I was like, I need structure. I need a partner. I need someone else to partner with me on this. And so I was reaching out to different companies, trying to see if they're looking to do a joint venture. And I reached out, and my partner Mike, who was my partner at Instaboost, was letting me know, like, what's crazy? We've been wanting to transition into paid media.
Wow.
It was just like all timing, bro.
Timing,
It was like perfect timing. And I was like, I was just kind of grilling them about questions, stuff like that. Like, well, like I need to have like, if we don't change the name, I got to make sure I have this amount of equity. This is how much MR I'm bringing to the company. So that's like my investment in. That's like right now. So as soon as we sign paperwork, we're live. Like we're accepting a lot of liveness going on because I have clients right now. And I built my clientele just like similar to what I do now, man. Just network, doing different podcasts, doing different interviews, speaking at different events, going inside and like kind of building. Also did some social media posting that kind of helped at the time like blow up my uniqueness in that space by certain ads, and also by like going inside certain groups and just communicating my results and how giving like some free game. It's something that still works to this day that people have to utilize, and I need to do even more of. But that's how I was able to kind of cultivate that relationship and come in and get a pretty good like equity piece, and having a team that already was fully built out, fully systemized, customized CRM system, the staffing, the HR, the accounting stuff I have that I don't touch till this day.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? But I was blessed to have really good partners who also are a little bit older than me, and just communicate the best, trustworthy guys. They definitely are very like mature when it comes to finances. Like they make a lot of money, and I get to watch them never spend it. Like never spend it. I think one of my partners got a Range Rover just because he had seen me got a Range Rover at the time, and was like never cared to get a car, but he just like just to be fun and just like kind of like have like both Range Rover brothers, at the time, and but they're all super frugal. And I watch how like well they manage their money, and so it's very like it's definitely good to see and trust. Because I've had other partners before who are just flashy, spending our money that we're supposed to be using on fulfillment and stuff like that. And so that was one thing I was looking for. I was like, I need someone that's mature, because I was around a bunch of young guys that were making money, but I didn't like how they were spending it and utilizing it, and I didn't want to come off like that. This wasn't me, and I wanted to make sure that, hey, we're like actually running a real business here.
100%.
Like there's payroll to take care of. There's people we got to pay, not for your own needs to look lavish. Yeah, so that was something that was really, really important to me, and what made our relationship right off the rip was something I was looking for, because like there was so much noise and stuff. Just like now, there's so much noise, and like just trying to find the right partners was like something I was really blessed to be able to do.
Wow. So you found them, and you guys, did you have to change the name of the company, or you keep the name that they had?
I liked what the name was, because it was very like, and we're building out other sister companies that will have a different name, but it'll be under like our umbrella. But I like the name already. I was like, this doesn't need to be changed, because we want to give people the instant boost.
Yeah.
Like, like an instant boost,
Instant boost, yeah.
in their business, as like a growth partner. And we don't look at ourselves as an agency. We're more of like a growth partner. Like we really come in and make sure we help out and look at the full frameworks of the business, how to make it more scalable and also profitable, and also helping set up operations, CRMs, systems in place that people need. A lot of people don't have the right SOPs. So we come in, help with SOPs, as well as build out the media aspect and landscape, and manage it as well. So now if someone has a business, they just have to really worry about the creative. They could be more creative flow, and just know that, hey, we got your back. We're going to handle all the marketing side for you, and make sure to help you scale up while you grow, and we'll grow with you. That's why we're your growth partners.
Epic.
That's how we look at it.
That's really interesting. So the main service that you guys offer is paid media right now. And you offer obviously other type of marketing related services as well. I know you're currently working on a course to pretty much give other people the opportunity to learn how to do paid advertisement campaign. And I know a lot of you guys watching or listening might be interested in that. Make sure you join the Facebook group, the eFormula Facebook group. I'll talk to Van and see whatever resources that we can share with you guys, so you can take advantage of it.
Definitely, we could definitely put some free stuff in there that would benefit everyone. And the cool thing about the course that I have built out, it has all my team media buyers on it. So there's different experts and different things from TikTok ads, Google ads, YouTube, Meta ads, and we go over it like really detailed in a very versatile composure, so people can use it for different type of business models. So you could get my course, and you could either learn how to become your own digital marketing agency, or you could use it for just yourself or for friends, family, clients, you might name it. There's also this good basic information to know that gives you skill set 100%. If you're looking to just get a job. 100%. If you want to get a job and get hired by your favorite brand and help out with marketing, or your favorite influencer, or just mom and pop shop nearby, and you want to help bring value and build out their marketing, my course will help you do that.
100%.
So it's like so many different levels. You do it for yourself, do it for others. It's a win-win.
All right. Imagine if you had that when you first came back from Tyler Lopez event. If you had the Instaboost course right now.
That right off the gate, and then it was like take off right off the way because I already knew some family friends that dads owned businesses and that weren't doing any of the paid marketing. They were doing like other older traditional marketing things and partnerships type stuff to grow. So right away when I kind of started doing this, I started testing it on them and bringing the results. And I was like, oh, this is a thing.
100%. That's epic, man. I know we can keep on going as much as possible.
Yeah.
But I want to touch a couple of points. I know you are a big fan of fashion as well. So where did the love of fashion came from? Was it from the same coach or was it from John?
Honestly, the fashion side of things, I got really inspired by Kanye West.
Oh, Kanye.
Yeah, Kanye West was probably the person that like inspired me the most in fashion because of his courage and creativity and vulnerability at his level is just insane. Like I'm not as vulnerable as him. I try to be, but also I'm like don't know if I don't really care to for my own like roadblocks and stuff. But so seeing someone I look up to as a billionaire who tries to be a best person, admits when he's wrong, tries to, if he's mad, he's gonna say it. He might say the wrong things, but he's being honest.
Yeah.
Like he's being honest about how he feels and stuff at that time, right or wrong. And then obviously it could be some correction. But it's just to finally be able to see something like that in our time, to me is just insane. And also what he did he changed every fashion company from here on out is changed because of Kanye. I feel like he changed the way people cut, the fabric, the mission behind it, like everything. So it's just dope to be able to see that and on camera. Like thank God we live in a time now where like everything's on
camera, right? You know what's funny? I was in the design district and I saw the Adidas store there. Just looking at the store, this is Kanye inspired store.
Yeah.
You go in, they have like bunch of old mattress stacked up, bunch of old clothes stacked up, and it's like, that's Kanye 100%. And it's sad to see the relationship is over. But
yeah, I know, and I don't even I see all this stuff. I don't dig too much deep into it, but just even his team that he had was just, and his eye for talent is insane. Like Virgil, bringing him to light, which made also just change the fashion industry even more because it's bringing just like in music, people used to really not know who the DJ was or the producer. People don't really know behind these fashion brands who's the creative director, who's the creative visionary and stuff like that. They just think of the owner. So he's kind of gave his team light. And even Essentials brand I'm wearing right now, Jerry Lorenzo, he worked for him as well. So all these brilliant people, I can imagine all these brilliant people in one room, just whiteboard, vision, so it definitely takes a solid team. And that's something I've always believed in. That's why I'm also thankful for my team, because it takes a real solid team to grow, to grow at the level, the right way. Like people that are holding you accountable, like my partner, Don, holds me accountable all the time for numbers and stuff like that I'm doing. And just business cultivating relationships and making sure that I'm staying
complacent.
Yeah, so I always say the scoreboard's 0-0. I try to keep that mindset so that way I'm not looking at the numbers too much in a winning sense. I'm like, no, the score's 0. Keep going.
I love that.
And that kind of helps with that creative push and sense of urgency on things.
Wow, that's epic. Are you a big reader? Because I know going through the journey that you went through,
dude, yeah.
Every entrepreneur would have to get a bite of some book.
Yeah, so I definitely read a ton of books years ago. I don't read as much as I do now. As much as I used to, but I definitely want to start reading up again. I watch a lot of I'm more in a lot of seminar podcasts and TED Talks, stuff like that are kind of what gives me the dopamines, while I'm watching, and also hearing I just had with the last podcast I watched just recently, a few days ago, I watched the Rob Dyrdek podcast with on Impulsive, and that one just had me just glued to the TV all the time because I've looked up to Rob Dyrdek as well and what he's built with his with Dyrdek Machines. It's a marketing agency incubator, which I'm also moving my business very similar to, and watching how he's moving and how they're picking projects and they're creative and how they build it out for launch. And just also seeing Fantasy Factory. I was always in my dream office. An office that has like a basketball court in there, bean bags, a hammock, green screen for studio content, some weights in there, has basketball court, something to shoot. Just like that fun experience, like wow, almost like a kid in a business playground.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Rob Derrick inspired a lot of other people, but he definitely inspired me. And also just so inspired by his growth. Like this is a guy who was out in the clubs, wasted, drinking all the time. Like when he was younger, because he was a pro skater, and that kind of lifestyle is kind of like a rock star type lifestyle. And I've seen him change and want to change and invest his money into like Tony Robbins and certain people to like mentor him and coach him, and also seeing him do mentorship and paying so much for it at his wealth and how his success. Mind you, this guy, they're showing ridiculousness probably like 90% of the time on MTV. Like he has the craziest deal that anyone ever seen.
Wow.
And all the brand deals that he's been getting and stuff, and still seeing him be like humble enough and aware enough to be like, hey, I need help. I need to pay for coaching and mentorship and stuff like that. And that's something that I love to be able to watch people like that, because it's so inspiring to see like that their evolution is growing in the right way, and that makes me know we all could do that. It's all a mindset thing,
100%. Oh, that's powerful. So you watch a lot of video formats and like audiobooks, podcasts, all in the same scenario. Do you have a book suggestion for anybody that is starting the entrepreneurial journey?
I would definitely say Crush It.
Crush It by
I'll say Crush It and Crushing It. And Sell or Be Sold are like the 3 books that really hit me. Of course, there's like other books that are a little bit more tactical in the marketing perspective or sales perspective. And just like money moving, real estate, like Robert Kiyosaki.
Yeah.
He has like those books. But I feel like for people, one of the biggest things they need to do is like actually go do.
100% implementing.
Yeah, like do with energy, do it fast. Like do what you can fast and get started. And those kind of books kind of help you on that. Like, of course, you're gonna need time to have a good balance of knowing to slow down, relax, recoup, reset, and then go again, which is something that I try to master. I like to go really hard. So like if I can in a week, like I know like, let's say out of 7 days, I'll probably say like 4 days I'm going fast. The other days it's a little bit more relaxed, composure, just working like, which could probably be crazy for a lot of other people. So I'm probably still working on like 10 different things, but it's way more relaxed for me and then normal. And so I kind of do that because it's like, it is a numbers game as well. 100%. And I know how many hours you're putting in and stuff like that. And the speed.
That's epic. Do something special for every single person that comes to the podcast. For a really long period of time, my books is my prized possession. I don't give people my books. But since I started the podcast, maybe you have seen it, I started giving access to my guests, access to my library. So you have over 100 books in the room. Dig in and pick up the one you like the most. I have some here. I have few of the ones that I'm currently reading, always on my left side, and I have
this one's catching my eye right here.
On the other side here. Which one?
Digital Disruption.
Digital Disruption.
I feel like
unleash the next wave of innovation.
Yeah, this one's catching my vibe
talks
right now.
to you.
There's also like a part of my life right now where I know I have to
disrupt something.
Wow, I just saw the first thing here. The CMO charged the team with creating. Okay, yeah. So I'm gonna take this one.
Beautiful.
This is a perfect time in my life for this type of book. Appreciate you so much, man. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming, guys. Give a big thank you to Van in the comment, and make sure you subscribe to the channel, like, share the video with whoever you think can benefit from this as well. My goal and sole purpose of this podcast and YouTube channel is to inspire any aspiring entrepreneur to have people to listen to and get insights from before they start their entrepreneurial journey. And also, if you are a current entrepreneur looking, maybe trying to change, do a shift in a different industry, in this podcast, you're gonna see the top leaders across many, many fields that you can relate to. I'm now gonna bring you a 70-year-old CEO here. Maybe that might happen every once in a while. Bring you the young, fresh CEOs that was where you are 5, 6, 7 years ago that you can relate the most to. So thank you for watching again, and I see you guys in the next episode. Bye-bye.